Dear friends, now I am going to the third part of Jagadish CHANDRABOSE affairs. Already first and second part already published. When anything new is discovered, there will always be people who question it. The results of Bose's work, too, were not accepted by all. He explained with suitable experiments how plants respond to stimuli. Even those who had challenged him could not find fault with his experiments or conclusions. There is an interesting story about a demonstration that Bose gave in England. On that day, he wanted to show some new things that he had found it. He had found out. He had come to the conclusion that plants can feel pain like animals, that when we pinch them, they suffer, and that they die in a few minutes after they are poisoned. Bose wanted to show experiments to prove these conclusions. A number of scientists and other leading men and women had gathered to hear him. Bose started the experiments by injecting poison into a plant. The plant should have shown signs of death in a few minutes. On the contrary, nothing happened. The learned audience started laughing. Even at this adverse moment, Bose showed admirable calmness. He thought quickly. The poison that he injected into the plant did not kill it. So he supposed that it would not hurt him also. With full confidence, he got ready to inject the poison into himself. At that instant, a man got up and confessed that instead of poison, he had put similar colored water. Now Bose conducted the experiment again with real poison, whereupon the plant withered and died as expected. Publications. He wrote books with and published them on his own. The instruments he had developed were being used in some Western countries too. He visited Europe and America in 1907 and 1914. Scientific institutions invited him to explain his discoveries. He visited Japan also. Bose wanted to study the reaction of other plants too. He designed delicate instruments that would show such reactions in them. Jagadish Chandra Bose showed the experiment in Cambridge and Oxford. The scientists were fascinated by the extreme sensitivity of plants. They were also filled with wonder when they saw the excellent instruments Jagadish Chandrabose himself made. Jagadish Chandrabose himself had made. The British government honored him more than once. In 1915, when retired from service, he was made an emeritus professor. He was to get rupees 1,500 a month as long as he lived. He was honored as a fellow of the Royal Society, FRS, in 1920. In 1927, he presided over the Indian Science Congress. Bose had worked all along without the right kind of scientific instruments and laboratory. For a long time, he had been thinking of building a laboratory. The result was the Bose Research Institute, which is in Calcutta. Even now, it is famous as a center of research. While inaugurating the Bose Research Institute, he said, "This is not a laboratory, but a temple." Such was his devotion to work. He felt everybody must have the same enthusiasm for research in a country. In the Bose Research Institute, research is conducted in botany and physics, the two branches of science in which Bose had won fame. We draw away our hand when it touches fire. When it is extremely cold, we may even die. Plants also experience heat and cold in this way. This can be measured with a thermometer. At 60 degrees centigrade, a plant will faint because of the extreme heat, and at a very low temperature it will react similarly to cold. Plants always react to rise or a fall of temperature in the atmosphere around them. When a heat or a cold is extreme, plants will faint or may even die. Bose had designed very delicate instruments that could record even this. Bose explained this is a peculiar behavior of the lotus. It opens when there is a rise in the temperature and it closes as the temperature drops. The same is true of the sunflower. He called this a peculiarity, the thirst for light. He explained that from 6 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the plant behaved in one way. And from 3 in the afternoon to 6 in the morning, plants behave differently. As an example, he chose a palm tree in Faridpur. This palm in Faridpur would bend down every evening. The people of the place had their own explanation. Water is very essential to plants. The root of the plant absorbs water, but even without roots, plants can take in water. This was demonstrated by Bose. The cells of a plant function like a man's heart. The heart contracts and expands to pump blood. In the same way, the cells of a plant expand and contract. This had to be proved by experiments. So Bose himself devised a new instrument. This could show how the cells worked. JAGADISH patted the horse and away the horse galloped. The boy's legs were bruised and blood flowed. But the rider and the animal completed one full circle on the racetrack. So young and brave, he was the center of the appreciation. He was all alone. The horse he was riding was rather a troublemaker. He started to run at full gallop. There used to be a bridge on the way, but the floods had washed away this bridge. Jagadish Chandra Bose horse was heading for this broken bridge. Jagadish Chandra was very weak because of the fever. But at the very last moment, he pulled the bridle very hard. The horse changed his course and crossed the stream on another bridge nearby. Jagadish Chandra Bose was famous as a scientist. He brought laurels to his motherland, but his interests were many-sided. He was especially interested in in literature and fine arts. Thank you to all.